What an exciting afternoon. Matt Britton here, joining Zoe de Toledo in the commentary box to bring you up to lunchtime. 4 more Henley finals to go. The sun has finally shone after monsoon, biblical conditions yesterday afternoon. Some of the most tricky conditions I've ever seen at Henley.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the rain is always unpleasant to row in, but it was the winds over the last few days that have really caused some difficult conditions, trouble steering. And I think it'll be interesting to see today how these two elite men's Cox fours manage that. Hopefully it should be a bit easier for them.
Yeah, you know, the conditions yesterday really tested some. We saw multi-Olympic and world medalists struggling with steering through the course. It is a bit more settled, but it's still tricky conditions. There are a lot more pleasure boats out here today. As the sun beats down on the Australian Coxless 4, they will face the Brits here, and it's a straight final in this event. This is the Open Coxless 4s event, the International Cruise event. We'll talk you through the cruise in a second, but there you can see the faces of the British team starting to focus in. They're both attaching now to the stake boats and getting aligned, and they'll come under starters orders in a moment.
So looking there at the green and gold of the Australian men's 4. And at the top of your picture you'll see the crew from Brookes and Leander, the burgundy of Brookes and the white and pink of Leander.
You can just see the race clock there showing about minutes to go before the start of the race, so the athletes will all just be thinking through the process and the race plan. You can hear the umpire.
When I see that you are both straight and ready,
attention. That's Richard Phelps,
start you like this.
British
Attention.
an Olympic world competitor. So
get ready, please.
this is the Stewards Challenge Cup. It's the Open Men's Coxless 4s. We have Oxford, Brookes and Leander representing Great Britain, and Rowing Australia representing Australia closest to the camera. Straight final. These guys have been waiting and waiting and waiting through the 6 days of record-breaking Henley. The wait's over.
Go!
Sharper start from Australia there, getting a few more strokes in early, but also a little bit of trouble steering, just heading back over now to their station early on. But I think they've jumped out early on that crew from Oxford, Brookes and Leander. There we can see that Australian crew really strong, moving in time as they come out of their start sequence.
Yeah, a little bit of a warning, a little bit of a glance on the steering. Australia steer away from Great Britain, and well, there's a lot of experience in this Australian crew. 3 of the 4 of them won gold in Tokyo, and in comes Jack O'Brien in the stroke seat from the 8 that was 6th in Tokyo. So I guess you'd expect them to have a bit of an advantage. My goodness, look at that. They really got the jump. You called it spot on, Zoe.
Yeah, I think they are the form crew, as you said. You know, they've got that Olympic champion experience. This British crew, by comparison, sort of the 3rd ranked sweep crew in the team. Matt Aldridge has come in after winning GB trials in the pair and racing in the pair. But you can see that actually looks like the crew from Rowing Australia has just started to stretch out onto their lower race pace, whereas the crew from Brookes and Leander continuing to hold it quite high and maybe pushing back now a little bit onto this Australian crew.
So they just went through the quarter-mile signal. You saw it there, and it's lane 2. The signal goes up to show the advantage they have. As Zoe was talking, you could see the boat speeds both coming down towards that, what they can say, sustain through the middle of the course. There are the Australian oars moving in synchronisation as you'd expect from a 4 where 3 of the members have been together for a couple of years. 1 Olympic gold. I mean, that gives you an enormous level of confidence, doesn't it? Zoe is a silver medalist from Rio. You know how much that medal work means to you as an athlete.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that you've aimed for your entire life. But look at this. I think the Brits are coming back now a little bit onto the crew from Rowing Australia. How many times, Matt, have we seen GB versus Australia in the men's Coxless 4s? This is one of the iconic rivalries of the sport, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. We look at the experienced face there of Freddie Davison in the stroke seat for the British 4 junior and under-23 champion stroke of the Cambridge Boat Race crew. He's known to set a lovely fluid rhythm, and perhaps that is going to give them a bit more of an advantage as they come into the middle of the course. They really need to stay on terms, and as Zoe said, look, you can see the indicators on the left of our picture, the quarter mile and then the barrier indicator, just half a length in it to the barrier marker. That's about 600 odd metres from the start. So we're into the second quarter.
I think they've gone through, Matt. It looks like they've moved through the Australians there. This would be a fantastic turn-up for this new British lineup. all these guys, you know, 2 of them raced at the first World Cup and won there, but 2 new athletes into the crew, including Sam Nunn, who we can see at 2 there in the white visor, who's just come back from major hip surgery this year. So he's going to be looking to put down a marker in this event and to set a seat for the World Championships later this year.
Absolutely. I just saw Will Stewart steering in the bow seat in his white Leander singlet there on the British call, making a call. I think he's calling there for a further push as they approach the halfway mark. So that's a critical second quarter of the course here for the British crew on the right of our picture, really attacking to hold on to the Australians. Australia staying calm, I think, but they haven't seemed to change their pace in response to the British crew as yet.
I think that Australian crew just look a little bit more dynamic now, actually. Look at them go. I think they might have just raised their rate there. Looks like they're just deciding, like you say, critical part of the course, that they need to push back through, and they have just got their bows back ahead. This is a fantastic race from these Australians who, like you say, comfortable just to sit a little bit down, brave to wait for their time, and have now moved right back through the Brits.
So this is the Stewards, the Open Men's Coxless Falls, 2 great international crews here. The first quarter of the race went to the Australians. The second quarter, the British crew attacked and had the edge. Now we look, both of them 35 strokes a minute, both of them moving pretty fast here. The Australians are looking to win the third quarter of this race, and it does look to me like they've got the edge. Zoe called it, they started to take it up a little bit, attack a little bit more dynamic with the legs on the Australian crew. Can the British respond?
Those Australians now are sitting in that 1 length up, which is a bit of a danger point for the crew behind. This is something we talk about a lot in boat race crews. When you're one-on-one, that is the point where you've got to make sure as the losing crew that the winning crew does not break away and get clear water. You've got to keep in contact. You want to keep your bow overlapping their stern. Matt, you know, if you're in that position, you've got to say, right, this is it, we're going now.
Yeah, it's what I call kitchen sink time. Meanwhile, here we look at the face of the Australian stroke, Jack O'Brien, who jumped in from the 6th place Tokyo 8 to join his gold medalist colleagues, so there's some pressure on him, but he is stroking well, just lifting when he needs to. And the tactics here are so important, aren't they? It's kind of responding and attacking and pacing what you do between those 2 things. Again, the Brits attack. They have an overlap still on the Australian crew. Just at the 1 mile signal, you can see they were just bow to stern at the 1 mile signal, and coming into the closing quarter of this race, who's going to win this section?
Not just the tactics of today, Matt, but the tactics of the rest of the season, because this isn't the last time these crews are going to meet. Both of them are racing at Lucerne in the 3rd World Cup next week, and likely both of them racing at the World Championships in September as well.
Yeah, and you know, the British crew are on the rise, I think. We saw in the first World Cup they beat the Netherlands by 2 seconds. The second World Cup, the Australians beat the Netherlands by 1 second, so there's good form here. A little bit of steering from the British crew on the right of our picture, preparing for the final stage. I think just from the indicator I can see they've gained a quarter of a length probably in the last minute or so of this race, and now...
Unbelievable race here from the Brits. I think on the form book, the Australians should have had it easy here, but this British crew from Brookes and Leander have not read that form book, and they look like they are charging again now. Have they left it too late to get back through?
10 strokes to go, the home crowds at their feet in the Stewards enclosure. Finals day at Henley Royal Regatta. Australia, Great Britain. We've seen it before in the Coxless Falls. Leander are going hard. The Australians looking a bit ragged on the line. Who's it going to be? Whoa!
That looked like a dead heat to me, Matt.
Well, we're going to have to look at the photograph. For me, I think the Australians may have it by 10 centimetres, but it's always dangerous to call in the heat of the moment. Let's have a look.
Looks like the Australians got it on the surge.
Wow, that is literally, as you say, the surge, just the randomness of whether the boat is coming off the finish and surging or slowing towards the catch. So we wait for the official confirmation on that, but it looked to me like the 10 centimetres was all that was in it. After 2,112 metres, it came down to fewer than 10 centimetres.
Unbelievable charge there at the end from that British crew. They could not be stopped, really. Just 1 stroke more and it might have been a different story.
I mean, credit to the British crew, because I think the Australians have the form there, and they have been chased by the Brits to 10 centimetres. These 3 Olympic champions won Olympic 6th place in the A, sitting at the stroke seat. Let's see what the official verdict is. The crews are just outside our commentary box here, also looking to wait for that confirmation.
Yeah, you can tell by the looks on their faces that they didn't know.
Yeah, that's right. In a situation like that, I've won medals by photo finishes before. Fortunately, never lost them. But there you go. That is the final stroke, the surge, as you said it.
Jack, that was a little closer than I'm sure you hoped for or expected.
No, we always hope for a close race to get the best of ourselves. It would always be nice to win by more, not be so stressed out, but win's a win, so we're pretty happy with it.
Did you know the result when you crossed the line? Were you confident?
Well, the guy behind me had a little bit of a dirty stroke and we kind of wobbled a bit, but I looked out for the last 3 strokes just to make sure we're in front. So, yeah, I knew we had it on the line. Yeah.
How did the rest of the race go? Was it everything that you'd hoped for throughout the way it went?
We had a good start. I would have liked to have the race before today. I feel like we just didn't really know the course that well and I was a bit lost to where we were. So, no, we had a good start, good middle. We just probably didn't finish the race off like we should have. So, but anyway.
3 of your boat won Tokyo Olympic gold medals. What is it about racing here at Henley? Why is it important to include this in the cycle building up to Paris?
We missed a lot of racing in 2020 and 2021. We couldn't do any of the racing, so any international racing we can get, we'll take it. So we're pretty glad to be here.
What is the atmosphere like down the course?
It's great. It's always good at Henley. It's always a bit of fun. We always miss out on the fun, but it's good to see family and friends having a good time. Yeah.
And in terms of you personally, to get a win here and be on that historic roll of honour important?
Yeah, it's good. Undefeated at Henley so far. We won in 2018 and then this year, so it's good to keep the streak running. So, no, it's great to be part of such a great event.